Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it. Pursue it. Work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, if you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Omena. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.
Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth Lunch and Learn family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn. Today we have Dr. Kristen Guillory with us, talking about the secret sauce and what it is. The 5 not so typical public speaking tips. Let's welcome up Dr. Kristen to the stage. Hey, Dr. Kristen, how are you? Welcome.
I am good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about a little sauce.
Okay. I'm loving that green. Yes, I am definitely excited to talk about the secret sauce being you and what exactly that means. And yeah, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Hey. So 5 not so typical public speaking tips. Before we dive into that, can you tell the community, I have a full bio and I'm not a fan of the scripted, let's give a list of everything about you. I really like our guests to kind of intro themselves, give our guests an idea of who you are, why you do what you do, and then we'll dive into those 5 not so typical public speaking tips.
Absolutely. So I am Dr. Kristen Guillory. I am a really proud aunt. So I'm going to tell you my accolades in a second, but my most favorite title is aunt. 4 boys who are in Atlanta. My oldest turns 13 next Thursday. He doesn't know I'm coming, so I'm coming through to celebrate him. So that's my favorite title. Professionally, I was a professor for about 12 years teaching in counseling and social work. I left that position about 8 years ago to pursue this journey. I never had a desire to be an entrepreneur. That was not #goals, but I was just obedient in the movement. And so I've done a lot of work in mental health, and I was a therapist for 4 years. Currently, I am a business and speaker coach. So on the speaking side, I've been a professional speaker for about 16 years. I've spoken to over 300,000 people in multiple countries. I've been on various stages from churches and Fortune 500 companies, NASA. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I have often been the only woman and the only Black woman or person on many stages. And it's so important for me to lift as I climb. So with my clients, my desire, my overall mission is that I help my clients walk in the fullness and freedom of who they are, period, and the freedom to charge a premium for what we do. That is so important to me. I believe in leaning into ease. I believe we normalize difficulty way too much, especially as Black folks. And I relocated to South Florida about 1.5 years ago to set my life up as a vacation, because the beach and sun are so beneficial to my mental health, and my self-care is non-negotiable. And I'm so grateful that I get to do what it is I do, and I get to extend this blessing to other people, family members to come in, friends to come in, and yeah, that's me in a little nutshell. Oh, I like to dance. Music is with everything. Okay, all the time. Listen. Okay, there we go.
Yes, girlfriend. We definitely relate. I'm like, okay, so going backwards, dance, definitely. Love me some dance, love me some music. It is definitely a love language for me. And that by the beach thing. So I did move from New York to Atlanta. So when you said that your nephews are in Atlanta, I was like, ooh, okay. Dr. Guillory will be touching us and giving us some of her energy in this Atlanta area next week. We'll take that. I have been looking at properties in Tulum and for the last 2 years, and it's like pulling me. So I understand that that life by the beach and that vacation life, and that being able to want to offer to the family and cover, and be able to offer that thing. Hey, Keisha said she loves dancing too and winding by the beach is a
Come
dream.
on, Keisha.
Hey,
Yes.
Teresa, welcome. Thanks for stopping by today. Yeah, so I love so much. When I was reading your bio, the lean into ease definitely spoke out to me, and I'm definitely looking forward to talking about that. So tell me, you let me know, where would you like to take us next in the direction of touching on the 5 not so typical public speaking tips, and also sharing about what that leaning into ease means.
As I said, in Coming to America, whatever you like, we can go in either direction, the ease or the sauce, because we're going to get to it.
So let's start with the sauce.
Let's go.
Let's start with the secrets. So, what is the secret sauce, and how do we get to understanding that the secret sauce is us?
Yes. So the secret sauce is you. Like, the secret sauce is who we are. Who we are in our story, in our personality, in our look. We are the speech, if you will. So for me, while I support everybody, the majority of my clients are Black women, majority. And what I have discovered just across the board is, so one of the not so typical speaker tips is, do not adopt the speaker persona, AKA code switch. Don't do that. That's happening way too much in these speaker streets, as I like to call it, where I may be like backstage, hey girl, see you later. Then when it's time to come on, good morning, how are you? That's not who you are. So we code switch too much on the speaker stage, where we just need to be who we are, period. You don't have to change your voice. You don't have to change your vocabulary, because who we are is enough. Another not so typical tip is to make sure that we are requesting payment and not assuming that I am going to do this for free. You have the right to say, my fee is $5,000. Pause. You have the right to do that. I've worked with people who said, I've been speaking for 10 years and I've never been paid. And I said, well, don't tell people that. But you may not know that you can be. Also, we don't need to let the organization or event tell us what our fee is. You need to have a fee. You need to have it ready to go. You need to have it ready to go. Another part of the not so typical speaker tips is, make sure your follow-up game is strong. We leave so many opportunities on the table by not following up. I'll give you a prime example. We may be at a networking event, or maybe you've just led a workshop or a keynote, and somebody comes up to you and they say, you were amazing. We'd love to bring you in to speak. Generally, what people do is, that's amazing. Here's my card, right? Here's my card, as opposed to, awesome. Are you free to chat tomorrow or the next day? Which is what I call the player move, PLAYA. Okay. So if you were to say, we'd love to bring you in, instead of me giving you my card, I'm going to say, thank you so much. I'm going to pull out my phone and my calendar and say, are you free to talk tomorrow or the next day at 1:00? When you tell me yes, I'm going to enter your email address in the calendar. And guess what? When I hit save, you already have an email. That's why it's called the player move. Okay. PLAYA. We leave so many opportunities and so much money on the table by not following up. And this is not just for speakers. This is any capacity. I had a celebrity client, and he went and spoke, and I think 15, 16 people came up to him afterwards and said, we'd love to bring you in. And I said, okay, what'd you do? He said, well, I gave them my card, and I gave him, as my clients call, the Dr. G look, which is, he was like, what? I said, did you get their information? Did you schedule the meeting? No, not one person followed up with him. Not that he's not amazing, but it's out of sight, out of mind, right? Like, it's not that he's not amazing, but we got to have a strong follow-up game. So I'll pause there. I'll do some other sauces later. I'll pause.
Okay. I love that. I was getting ready to say, and what comes up for me in the past is, those are times that I was not leaning into ease. Those are times that the ease was there for me and I didn't lean into it, because it's coming, like, I could recollect times just now in my head as you were saying that. I'm like, whew, the amount of times I have left money on the table, the amount of times that I have not created a jewelry set, the amount of times that I didn't sell that jewelry set because that follow through wasn't there, that player move wasn't there, that, oh, here's my Instagram, DM me, let me know what you want, was there, and that not leaning, and it was there for me. So to me, that's you haven't even gotten to speaking about the lean into ease, but it's an opportunity right there to see where if I had done that, so I'm already seeing some value, and I don't even have the full picture yet. But I'll keep that there. So right now, community, if you are just joining us, just giving you a little recap of Dr. Kristen Guillory is here today talking with us about the secret sauce being us. The secret sauce is you. It is you. So talking point number 1, do not adopt the speaker persona. Be yourself. That's what I wrote as a note for myself. Number 2, be sure to demand a fee. And you set your fee, and you're worth it. Remember that you're worth it. Number 3, your follow-up game needs to be strong. Use Dr. Guillory's play a move. Don't lean back. Lean forward. Lean in. Don't give cards. Set dates. Set calls.
Immediately.
All right.
Immediately. And I'll give you a couple more. So number 4 is remember that less is more. I have been guilty of this. So in addition to keynoting and motivational speaking and all of that, the majority of my speaking has been professional development training, where I've led 2-hour trainings, 3-hour trainings, boot camps, 3-day experiences. And especially with the 60-minute workshop or keynote, I've been guilty of this, where I want to fit in everything. I want to fit in 18 tips and strategies. I want to fit in my entire story. But where we are today in terms of speaking, right, because of TikToks and Reels, is we want things in a short amount of time. And so instead of giving like 20 tips or 10 things, we want to give a few and go wide with them. Because one of the other sauces, I'll give you number 5. I'll give a lot. So here's a 5th one is make sure when you're speaking, if you're giving strategies, if you're getting encouragement, you should give them something that they can implement immediately. It's being able to do something immediately. So anytime I lead sessions, I will say, depending on what it is, pull out your phone and send someone a text message and say you're grateful for them, or send this, or schedule it right now, or schedule time to breathe immediately, because we're all busy. We all have so many things going on. And when someone says, here's homework for you, that's fine. But make sure you've given me something to do. And you can give them something to do, going back to number 4, when you lean into less is more. Giving 3 amazing strategies and talking about them is so much better than quickly getting into a tip that isn't good. And I'm probably going to give more than 5. Here's a bonus one. Do not share fluffy tips. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by fluffy. Fluffy is don't give up. You need to rest. Okay, great. But what if I've already given up? How do I not give up? What does rest mean? Sometimes we think rest, because I do a lot of self-care, compassion, fatigue work. I think rest is only taking a nap. Rest is not just sleeping. So if you're going to go there, go there. Go deeper in your information, because that's the difference. And that connects with, as speakers, what I tell my clients is, as a speaker, your product is your talk, right? As a baker, your product are your cakes and cookies and pies. As a speaker, your product is your talk, and your talk has to be stellar. It is not difficult to get one engagement. It's not. What I desire for all of my clients is that they get on the stage and they knock it out, and the opportunities come from that one talk. You know the phrase, your gifts will make room for you. I believe that your talk will create other talks. I have had times where I gave one talk and it created 13 paid speaking opportunities, because when I get on stage, I knock it out. I know the gift. I connect at a heart level, which is probably one of the most important things to do, is connecting at a heart level, which hopefully connects to being you as a secret sauce. You've got to be genuinely you and let the audience connect with you at a heart level. There's a quote I love that says, data changes minds, stories change hearts. Data changes minds, stories change hearts. And that connects to the secret sauce is you. The secret sauce is your heart. The secret sauce is not code switching. The secret sauce is leaning into authentically who you are.
Data changes mind, and say that one more time.
Data changes minds, stories change hearts.
Beautiful. I love that. So question for you, sis. What are some of the top mistakes that speakers make, in particular Black speakers?
Number one mistakes. And if my clients were here, I would be like, y'all, what's the number one mistake? They'd say, number one mistake is winging it. That's the number one mistake. That's my number one rule. Do not ever wing it. I don't care if it's a 3-minute talk, a 60-second intro, a 30-minute, do not wing it, because I believe winging it is disrespectful to the audience. I believe winging it is disrespectful to the craft, and it's disrespectful to you and your story. It is. Athletes and actors are not getting on stage without doing some type of vocal warm-ups or warming up, but we have the nerve to think I can just get up there and wing it. That's disrespectful. Take 5 minutes to prep, 10 minutes to prep, 30 minutes to prep. So that's the number one mistake. The other mistake fits in with kind of the tip is not asking for a payment. That's number 2 mistake, is not asking for a fee, not asking to be paid, not thinking that you deserve to be paid, which could be a number 3 mistake. And I don't know if I want to call it a mistake or just an opportunity or blind spot in realizing that you may not realize that you can charge right now. You're valuable right now. Yes, there's a structure to your talk that needs to take place. Yes, you need to learn how to do the business of speaking, but people are hiring you for you. And I'll give you this in particular to people of color, in particular Black folks, when there's a request for a diversity talk or a panel, come share your story. Don't do that for free. Do not do that for free. No. It's your right to do so. I still do pro bono things from time to time, but specific things around race and can you talk about being a Black woman and all of that? I'm like, first of all, I don't represent all Black women. I cannot do that. While I am a Black woman, I'm also an aunt. I also am this. And so I can talk about me and people can possibly relate, but I am not going to pimp my pain. And I do not want anybody to ever do that. So if you want me to share my truth that may open up some wounds or may be difficult in that space, then there is a premium fee that is going to be charged. You cannot ever pay for somebody's pain, right? But that's another thing. Y'all about to pay.
No. I love that. Don't pimp your pain. I love that. It's a lot of that happens in the world. And it really, I think that it comes from part of it is in that statement for me about data changing minds and stories changing heart. It's almost like the opposite. It's where people are using their stories and replacing, and you want the data to change my heart. And that's how it comes across for me when someone is pimping their pain. It's hard for me to hear them and to feel them. Because when you are looking for heartfelt and you do trust in the divine, you can feel, you can tell.
You can. Oh, 100%. And immediately you can feel it, because it's not that we don't need the data. We do need the data. I encourage my clients, you've always got to have empirical backing to what you're talking about. But so for example, I believe so I've written a couple books, and one of the books is called Look, Stop Hiding, How to Find Your Voice and Never Dim Your Light Again. And while I can talk about percentages of people who dim their light, that will only be enhanced after I tell you my stories of when I hid my light. When I tried to hide who I was because I didn't think I fit in the traditional professor box or other boxes because I didn't want to stand out. And then my students called me out. They were like, Dr. G, where your theme music? What? No, nobody else playing no theme music. I'm already the youngest professor, already one of the few Black women professors. And I got a hip hop theme song. And they were like, but that's what everybody loved about you. And that was about 11 years ago. And my students, I'm so grateful that and these are students I hadn't even had. Like, this is the next semester. And I'm like, how y'all know about my theme music? And they said, that's what everybody said. And I'm so grateful they said that, because there's a chance I might have continued to hide if they didn't say, no, that's what we appreciate about you. And I know I was afraid of something called stereotype threat, which is I'm the Black woman playing hip hop. No, that's what I'm about to do. And but I wasn't as confident in just showing up as me 12 or so years ago, which is why I say the secret sauce is you. Like, my students over the years will say, you're my favorite professor. I'm a hard professor. Listen, I give a lot of work, but they were like, you cared about us and we had fun with you and we rapped in class and spoken word and you told us about your nephews. And I was like, I'm just being me. They were like, that's why we appreciated you. And we were willing to spend 9 hours doing your homework, but y'all got it done though. Okay.
That part, effective. I love it. I love it. So for the speaker who hasn't spoke yet, who is trying to find their voice, who doesn't know how to present, what what is an important thing to do when speaking? What are some important things for someone just starting out?
Absolutely. So it's important to know to whom you want to speak. It's important to know what problem you want to address and how you're going to solve it. I believe that anytime we take a stage, then we're solving some kind of problem. Even if I'm sharing my story is inspirational, and maybe it's going to help somebody not go through what I went through or know that they're not alone. But in terms of speaking, I'd say the first thing to do is really figure out, who do I want to talk to? And here's the thing, we can all talk to everybody because we're all amazing, okay? But it's really important to have a niche in the beginning. It's really important to do that. So they say, oh, I want to help teen girls. Awesome. What problem do you want to address among these girls? Low self-esteem. Okay. What is the low self-esteem causing? Awesome. Now, how are you going to solve that problem? I desire to inspire. I desire to give strategies. I desire to help them recognize who they truly are. I desire to help them recognize their worth. So that's the first thing. Like, what do I want to talk about and in what capacity? The next thing to do is to talk to a couple people who know you kind of well and know you maybe not so well. Just to say, hey, I am interested in speaking a little bit more. What do you think I should talk about? Or I really want to talk to teen girls about this. What do you think? Just to kind of hear, because sometimes there are things and abilities and gifts we have that we don't recognize because they're just so naturally us. And they may say, did you know you're really good at? So real quick, when I became a speaker coach, the Lord dropped it in my spirit. And I'm like, speaker coaching? I don't want to do that. And I never desired to do this. I never did. And when I started telling people that I was going to be speaker coaching, folks would say, yeah, absolutely. Oh, so you're not surprised at this? They were like, no, you are pretty much one of the most powerful people we've ever seen on stage. Oh, for real? Oh, okay. And that would have never been anything I thought, but it was a surprise to me. Nobody was surprised because they're like, yes, your gift. And so I would say, talk to somebody if you're interested in that. And then the third thing I would encourage you to do, if you're interested in speaking and you haven't started, I'll say this, there is a chance that you have spoken. There is a chance that you've spoken in a small group, you've given a welcome, you've led a meeting, you spoke at Sunday school, you spoke in Monday school. There's a chance you've given a class presentation. So you have spoken. And if you think about that, what that will help you do is realize, okay, so I'm not really new to this. Maybe I'm new to the structure of it. Maybe I'm new to the business of it, but I'm not new to speaking. Okay, let me normalize that. And then think about my problem audience, think about talking to some folks. And then the third thing, like I said, or not like I said, but the third thing is to consider going live on a social media platform just to talk about your passion, just to go live. Now, don't wing it, okay? Don't wing it. Have what you want to talk about, but go live, because I've supported different amazing people over the years. And in particular, I'll talk about a handful of celebrity clients I've supported. And I've told them, people know you in the sports space or the music space or the comedy space. They know you there. They don't know you as a speaker. Yeah. So as amazing as you are, as amazing as all of us are, celebrity or not, as amazing as we are, if people don't know that's what you're interested in doing or that's what you do, then they won't know that they can book you. So that's why talking to some friends and then just going live, not to announce that you're a speaker. I don't mean that. People need to see that you are passionate about what you do. They need to see that you're an expert in what you want to talk about. Then it organically is going to happen. So I am not someone who has ever really sought out engagements. I allow the gift to make room. 90% of my talks over the last 16 years have all been referral. All of them. All of them. So it just happened back. Say again, what'd you say?
Even, I was going to say Ashe, and even us landing here today is a testimony of that exactly. So I like, it's right there, community. She's actually a testimony of what she's speaking about. Keisha procured Dr. Kristen from Instagram, I believe, was shared.
She started on LinkedIn and then came over to the IG streets. She was in it.
And found her in those IG streets. Yes, she did. And I'm so glad that she did. I'm so glad. Question for you. What has been the most surprising thing that you've discovered while doing coaching and with your clients and speakers?
Oh my. Yes. So actually, the most surprising thing is what led me to write the book, the Look Stop Hiding book. The most surprising thing is these amazingly talented people, majority, and me included, deal with such doubt and fear. That's probably been the most surprising thing. Like, do you see who you are? Do you see your resume and credentials and your humor and personality? But the imposter syndrome is real. Doubt is real. Fear is real, which is why a significant part of my coaching is mindset work, is doing brain detoxing so we can weaken the toxicity of that harmful thought that may prevent me. Because the thing is, yes, I give a lot of work. Yes, yes, yes. But it's not that the work in itself is difficult. What is potentially difficult is my thought about the work, my thought of, will somebody pay me? I've had people say, Dr. Guillory, what if they won't pay me? My response is, then they won't. If you think they won't pay you, then they won't. Your thoughts are so important. And so, yeah, that's been really, really surprising. And I guess not so much because that was me too, but just to be like, these brilliant folks, and y'all are doubting the sauce. You're doubting it. But we've been told in different ways over the years that you don't need to brag, right? You've got to be behind the scenes. We've got to work 3 times as hard. So when somebody says stuff like that, here's my response. I give you this. So somebody, oh, you have to work 3 times as hard. I said, thank you for sharing, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. Okay. That's nothing to do with me.
Like,
or thank you. I reject that. I'm unavailable. I reject that word because that's nothing to do with me. Also, just the notion of, oh, I don't want to come across bragging. I hear that I don't want to come across bragging. It is not bragging if it is a fact. It is not bragging when it's a fact. It's a fact that I live in Florida. It is a fact that I got a PhD at 27 years old as the only Black person and only woman. And yet that is a fact. That's a fact. It's a fact that I'm wearing braids right now. Okay. That's a fact. And if somebody perceives it as bragging, that has nothing to do with me. And so just kind of shifting these amazing, brilliant minds to saying, you have the right to show up and not hide your gifts and not hide your sauce and not apologize for taking up space. And then once that shift happens, oh, listen,
I get it. So when you spoke of being charged to something that you had no idea was for you, me being right here with you is just that. Miss Athenia Rodney, our creator of the Juneteenth and our big mama, our CEO of Juneteenth NY, this is her doing, her seeing, this is her seeing me. And from there, the steps and the things that I have had the opportunity to do since then, I get it. I get it. And I hope and I wish for every set of eyes that are watching this, that watch it in the future, know that the same can happen for you. Getting out of our own way, understanding that it is okay for us to be huge, us to be big, us to, as Dr. Guillory said, take up space. It is okay. It is okay. Especially in this world today, it needs light. It needs us to shine. It needs us to stop hiding and for us to let ourselves out. So, sis, with this being said, NASA, talk to us about NASA. You got to share that.
Oh, yes. Let me see if I can. Well, that's okay. I can't believe. So, had an opportunity to speak for a large company that was hosting a space at NASA. Like their big event was at NASA, like real NASA, Houston, security. And I was like, oh, we about to do this. Cool. So I get in and I see the stage, and the stage is lovely. The setup is beautiful and has a podium. I don't speak at podiums unless I'm giving a commencement talk, but I even walk away from that. And I don't ever consider if I'm speaking at like a memorial service or funeral, that's not speaking. That's not speaking. That's sharing on behalf of a loved one, and I probably need that podium to hold me up. Other than that, I don't use podiums. And so the podium's on the stage. I'm like, Lord, I'm at NASA. Oh, Lord. Okay. It does not hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And I said, when I come up, because I was the keynote speaker at this event, I said, can you all move the podium for me? And they're like, absolutely. What else do you need? Oh, okay. So then I start my talk, and there's a part of my PhD graduation story that I share. And this is true story. They called me up, Dr. Kristen Guillory, blah, blah, blah. And I did. There's a song back in the day by Young Jock called It's Going Down. So, So I did that on that stage. Well, I also did that on the NASA stage. So when I bring that, I'm like, yes, y'all, I moved the podium and did we Young Jock is going down on the NASA stage for show. And what was so interesting is after I was done, nobody moved the podium back. Everybody after me was so much more comfortable. Everybody after me was so much more laid back. And sometimes just us being who we are gives other people permission to be who they are.
Whew. The chills I received during that last part, just really learning to love ourselves. I hear that that's another one of those key points in there. So leaning into ease.
Leaning into ease.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. So it might have been 8 years ago. I went to lunch with a friend of a friend. And at the end of the lunch, she said to me, have you ever prayed for ease? I said, pray for ease? No. In my mind, I'm like, no, because things are not supposed to be easy. I, have faith. We're taught that everything is hard and I'm a Black woman. No. And so that was my first introduction to the concept or the notion of ease. Probably a year later, I got this opportunity to have a tenure track professor position. And I sent my family this email that said, because it came so easily, I'm going to say no. Because it came too easy. There were I didn't have to work for this. Thankfully, I came to my senses and I emailed them back I'm just kidding. And I accepted it. But it was so ingrained that I expected everything to be hard, that I expected difficulty, and I rejected ease, right? So if something easily happened, I might be like, an example I use is if you have a good day at work, which could be an example of ease. Oh, that means tomorrow's going to be horrible. Or let's say your boo or your significant other does something really nice. What do they want? Where we're rejecting the ease. And so for me, I really started leaning into it even more about 3 to 4 years ago. I'm just saying, wait a minute. There's nowhere that says things always have to be hard. We hear that. And if I say it's going to be hard, then we normalize that, and it will be. If I say life is hard, it will be. If I say relationships are hard, they will be. Now, I'm not saying that there's not difficulty, right? I'm not saying that at all. But what made my journey, my entrepreneurship journey after I left the professor position hard was me. I assumed the journey was going to be hard. I was so tunnel focused that I wasn't willing to look other ways about how my purpose and destiny were going to happen. I was like, no, it's going to only be this way. So I made things hard. Once I realized I made things hard and said, wait a minute, Lord, let me just be open. Let me be open to whatever way things are going to come. And here's the truth. I have not had a difficult moment in my business in 4 years. That is the truth. Have I had moments that have been frustrating? Sure, but a difficult moment? I have not. I have not. And it's a combination of things. It's belief and doing well with what you do. But I assumed stuff was supposed to be hard. And outside of my business, if I assume things like we've talked about this, our thoughts are so powerful. So leaning into ease is being open to things easily happening, accepting the blessing of ease and doing well with it and not rejecting it.
That's powerful. And what came up for me when you shared, I'm like, wow. And even through COVID, that's a strong statement to be able to say that for the last 4 years, you have been able to operate out of ease. As a believer in the divine, there's a book by a woman named Tosha Silver, who is amazing. And ever since I read that book and grasped understanding to trust in the divine, that's also helped me with these. So it kind of speaks to when you said about having faith. Once you have the faith, then you just kind of lean into that faith, and it does. And what came up for me in the relation, I'm like, again, Dr. Kristen is a seer, because she said that a lot of times we're doing things already and we don't realize it. So this conversation is so much about us as individuals than it is about speaking. While I know that speaking is your niche, this conversation that you're on about it being us and our thought patterns and our mind it literally plays over into every area of our lives. Like you said, into relationships, into even walking into relationships. Sometimes we won't walk into relationships because they come with a level of peace and ease that maybe we're not accustomed to in this chaotic world. And I offer that each and every one of you, if there's anything that you have in your life with ease, take it gladly, take it gratefully, go after it, because we live in a world that ease is not the energy out there. The energy around us is pure chaos, and we have to find and lean into our own peace and ease.
And to know that you deserve ease. You deserve peace, and it is there. It's when we expect everything to be hard and dramatic, and we create that life. And sometimes when I've only known drama, I've only known toxicity, when the ease comes, it feels really weird, and that's okay. But lean into that discomfort. Lean into that. And you made a great point. Yes, my company and things of speaking and coaching and all that, but you're absolutely correct. Regardless of what I do, I desire for us to lean into ease, show up as who we are, walk in freedom, and implement self-care. And so regardless of the event, whether it's my speaker boot camp, whether it's an event that I just recently hosted, my desire is all of that. So my clients will say, okay, so we thought we were signing up for speaker coaching. We didn't know we were going to get counseling, life coaching. Oh,
Sure.
I mean, all the time. I hear that all the time. Like, Dr. G, yes, your speaker coaching. So what's so funny is I will say, hey, will you write me a testimonial about the coaching program or whatever? And they're absolutely. And the majority of the testimonial is, I'm a different person. I now show up differently. Oh, yes, I made money speaking. But they were like, yes, Dr. G, your speaker tips are amazing. But you've helped me change my life. You've helped me be different for my family. Yes. And that is actually what my goal has been.
To touch the core. I love that. So you touched on that, and that's where I'd like to take us next. The most recent event that you had, because a lot of times I know that a lot of our guests, we do also have male guests that have come in the past, but we do mostly predominantly have a female, and we have a balanced audience, but definitely a lot of female guests. But I want our guests to know that this is not a space that is just for women. It is for BIPOC. It is for us folks of color. It is for us entrepreneurs. It is for us spirit-led folks. And Dr. Kristen does some amazing work that she has going on. And I'm going to let her share. You share, please.
Yes, thank you for that. So this past Saturday, I brought back an event that I started 6 years ago called Candid Conversations for Men. I have been working with men and boys in some capacity for almost 20 years. Right outside of college, I became like a youth minister, youth director at church, and 80% of the participants were boys in my program. And it was, part of the youth makeup. So what's really cool about that is I remember I got a call from one of the high school football coaches, and he said, "Is this Miss Kristen?" I said, "It is." He said, "Do you have Brandon and such in your program?" I said, "I do." He said, "Okay," because they asked me if they could skip watching video on Saturday in order to go to church. Are they telling me the truth? I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "In the history of me being a coach, I have never had a player want to miss watching video to go to church. What are you doing?" So back then, I didn't realize what I was doing was this magnificent thing. I just had a heart for them, but they'll come back and say, "It was you. We want to be around you." Fast forward 20 plus years, I messaged some of those young men, and I said, "Hey, I'm hosting this event." Why did they message me back immediately? And they said, "Oh my God, I was just talking about you to my girlfriend." The other one said, "So for real, don't judge me, but I'm probably going to cry when I see you." And I mean, years later. And so my dissertation was on factors that contribute to school completion and dropout among Black men. I've often been the first woman to be invited to speak to groups of men. And so that just organically has been it. I was invited to be the Father's Day speaker for this group of men in Dallas about 7 years ago. And I'm like, what? I got an email, "Dr. Guillory, they want you to be their Father's Day speaker." And I said, "I'm honored. And I want to honor these men. I want to encourage them that if you're not involved in your children's lives, they still need you. They still want to see you. And if you've made mistakes, we're human, apologize." But, and so anyway, so this event, my male clients who work with me that is like, you change lives. And so 6 years ago, I started Candid Conversations, which is a space for men to be. So people will say, is it a panel discussion? No. No disrespect to panels. They're amazing. No, it's an entire curated experience for men to be seen, be heard, be affirmed, breathe, have fun, connect. And I brought it back. And this last Saturday, it was amazing. I chatted with one gentleman yesterday who said in his small group, so Candid Conversations, I had 10 men who were the Candid Conversations facilitators. I had no speakers. I was a speaker, if you will. And he said, in our group, I said to one young man, I grew up without a father. Did you grow up without a father? That young man said yes and started crying. And he said all the men in the group started tearing up. Fast forward, that young man reached out to him and said, would you be my mentor? And he said, we went for breakfast. Another man reached out and said, we started a group chat, and we're connecting. And I just said, gentlemen, what I recognize is when you feel not judged and you feel safe, you will share. And I also recognize that society doesn't always give you permission to be hurt and vulnerable and confused and emotional. And so what it is, another man emailed me and he said, that is the most powerful experience I've ever been to. He said, I was on the verge of tears multiple times. Thank you for what you're doing. I mean, I heard that from everybody. This was life-changing. And so I just had to lean in and do what I was called to do. And I was excited because of the response. We're going to host another one in Dallas in January. And I'm going to actually potentially take it on a little mini tour. So I'm looking at Houston, Atlanta, and a few other cities. And then I'm hosting a retreat on the beach for men in June out here in South Florida. So just total honor to do so. Oh, and my uncle came and he loved it. My brother came through. So it just was one of those, gentlemen, I see you. And when you're healed and you do this, that's going to impact families. That's going to impact communities. That's going to impact so many people. So it was truly an honor to do that.
So yes, I am purely over here in tears. This portion of the conversation has definitely hit my heart. I am definitely, I consider myself a healer. And so whenever there is something that I know, just like what you said, you're healing 7 generations forward and you're healing 7 generations back for our folks, just through empowering and giving men permission to just be. And that is so important. Again, I'm constantly these days, I find myself, with news and everything that goes on, you open up your phone. I'm so kind of caught up in this bubble of what's going on, but I'm very aware that I have control over not getting caught up in that. And that spaces and places and the work that is being done within our communities is where my faith lies, which is where everything that I know, like, it's the balance. It's the balance for me. So I thank you. I thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm writing notes for myself. I'll definitely be reaching out to you to offer my services when you're here in Atlanta. Because I know as you're doing things like that, you always need support. We need a village. It doesn't happen with just you. While the secret sauce is us, it is also the branches and our leaves and our trunks and all of that good stuff that supports us.
And thank you. I will happily, yes, accept. And yeah.
So please let the community know. I know Keisha has all of your links and we'll be dropping them as you share them. But for our auditory guests, could you share how they would reach you, where they can find you at? I know that you mentioned some surprises, and also feel free to recap and kind of start to wrap us up and take us out. And thank you for bringing me these tears of joy. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And before I get to that, thank you for your heart and again, being so heart-centered with this, because we don't have to know somebody well to connect at a heart level, right? You don't have to know somebody to say, no, they really mean this work. They really are are doing that. And I appreciate you and the space that you're providing, not only for your guests, but for folks watching in the social media streets or on the replay streets or the YouTube, which is social media, and doing that. So I appreciate that. For anybody who wants to get in contact with me, the best way is to find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. So my Instagram is literally my name, all smushed together, Dr. Kristen Guillory, DrKristenGuillory. So that's Instagram. Slide in my DMs if you have any questions for me. On Facebook and LinkedIn, it's my name, Kristen Guillory. Slide in my DMs there if you have any questions on that end. And so I have 3 prizes or 3 giveaways that I want to give. So to the first 3 people who slide in my DMs, I am either going to offer you a copy of one of my books, and I'll let you pick. So one is called Look, Stop Hiding, How to Find Your Voice and Never Dim Your Light Again. The other book is called Walking Through the Fog, Holding On to Hope When You Can't See the Sun. So I'm going to give away 2 of my books. I'm going to mail them to you. And then a third giveaway is going to be a 30-minute coaching call with me. And we can work on whatever you want. My 30-minute coaching calls are $700. My hour sessions are $1,200. And I just give that for context, because when you work with me and I get in my zone for you, you can walk away, and if you were paying for the session, you could 10x that in about a week. And so that's what happens when people work with me and I say, yeah, my hour session is $1,200. They're like, it's so worth it because I walked away and made $40,000 within 2 months. I know. So all that being said, slide in my DMs, tell me that you saw me here, and then I'm going to tell you what your prize is. So either a book or you're going to get a coaching session with me, and we can work on whatever you want: speaking, business, leaning into ease, travel, relocating to a beach. Whatever you want, mindset, self-care, I'd be happy to support you in that way.
I'm over here on mute now. I haven't done that in a while. That tickled me, gave me a little tickle in my belly. Zoom world. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kristen. And I implore you guys out there, please reach out. You would be remiss to not DM and get one of those gifts. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm DMing because I would put myself at the bottom of the list. If one of y'all 3 don't show up, then I'm gonna take y'all spot, and that's y'all problem, because I believe in me, and I hope that you believe in you too, and understand that you are the secret to your sauce. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Kristen. We appreciate you.
You are so welcome. And you don't have to DM me, just email me. You and Keisha, I'm going to send y'all some stuff. Y'all just email me. I got you.
Super. All right, y'all still got y'all 3 spaces. Y'all better get in there.
Wait, what is it? Get in there. Yeah, okay, let me stop. Because
I'm like, what? We can play that game all day long. I was just going to say, my last job in New York, one of my coworkers, we did that all day long. Something come up. Oh, what song? Come up with a song.
Listen, let me give you this. In another life, if there were like 80 hours in a day, I would real talk be a DJ. Okay, I would be a DJ because wait. Do you have time? Can I play 2 of my theme songs?
Okay, go right ahead.
Hold up, y'all. Let me bring y'all a little bit into what I do a little bit. Okay, so here's one. You've probably heard this one. I won't play the whole thing, but wait. Let me give you a little time. Okay. Okay. Don't do it. Hey, yeah. Listen. I might rap for you in a minute. Don't you know No, we're not gonna rap. So
I love it. And what's the other one? Because now you got me curious.
Oh, no. Okay. So this is the other one that I do. Tell me if you remember this one. So this is a song that I probably play at every engagement.
Check this out. We about to do this getting ready. Check this out. Come on.
You don't know? Clap.
DC.
What'd you say?
That's that good old when I used to go. So my sister went to Howard, and I would join.
Yes.
Her. That's that good old.
That's a good old back. And so I do have to also play this. And last one. There's so many that I play, but I'm gonna give you this one.
Go.
So I love salsa, merengue, bachata, and I will incorporate that. So I incorporate merengue in my talks often, and this is the song that I use. So I'll have everybody. Oh, I had the men doing some merengue. Don't do it.
I love it. I was going to say that freedom.
Okay, bring y'all into a little bit of the
freedom.
Say again. What'd you say?
Freedom.
Yeah.
There's freedom in salsa music. Once you get a person to loosen up to salsa music, it's almost like looking at a whole different person.
Oh, it is. So I had the gentleman do that on Saturday. I had them do merengue, and some people said, you're going to get a room of men to do merengue, and there's not going to be any women there. I said, yes. Are they going to do it? I said, they will, because I know that there's a way I can introduce it in a way that, and did every man stand up and not only do the merengue, there were smiles on their faces.
That's what I was about to say, joy and laughter.
Joy. It's almost like,
and so healing.
I can blame Dr. Guillory, because she had us dance. And and there was a moment where we talk about songs that we liked back in the day. And I brought some guys up. Why? So one gentleman who sang a song in Spanish, that's like serenaded song. And everybody was like, yeah, Lee, he's good. Another dude sang Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition. Another one sang a song by Prince, and you could just see the joy in this room, and there was no question of, are you a man? And it was just, we were allowed to have fun and be and smile and say, you better do that. So that's the thing. So yeah, I have a whole list of music that we play.
Listen, gentlemen out there, keep your ears open. Follow Dr. Guillory. You want to be in those candid conversations. Yes. Listen, if you follow, it will come to you. Follow. You never know where that tour may take her. Follow her, reach out, ask her to bring it to your city. Get your
I'll bring it to your city. I'll bring it.
Share it. Remember, sharing is caring. Thank you, Dr. Kristen. This has been amazing. Thank you for tears of joy, for laughter, for fun, for heartfelt exchange. I really, really, really enjoyed this.
Thank you so much.
Honored.
Thank you.
All right, community. So for next week, we have L.S. Johnson, who has been here with us before. He'll be returning to talk about fears and myths that people have in the Black community about investing in the stock market and how can we overcome them. That's a great talk for me, I know, because I am just coming off of a financial boot camp and a full year of membership in that group. So I'm looking forward to him being here. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week. Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it, pursue it, work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like, just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Omena. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.